The man still standing. He is the man still standing, not because life was kind, but because he learned how to stand, even when it wasn't. No spotlight found him when the weight pressed in. No fanfare followed him when he chose the right thing over the easy one. He just showed up every day, without applause, without needing to be seen, but always being there. They don't write headlines about men like him. No trending hashtags, no grand confetti. But he made the ordinary holy. A quiet morning drive, a door held open, a prayer whispered when no one saw. He's the kind of man who fixes things, sinks, fences, broken hearts. And somehow, without fixing himself first, he held everything else together. He was the first mystery I ever tried to solve. A man of few words, but pages of action. Every silent choice he made became a sermon. Every moment of discipline was really just love in disguise. People misunderstood him, called him strict, old school, too serious. But what they didn't see was the way he shielded us from storms, by standing in the rain alone. He was never concerned with being liked. He was concerned with being faithful. And no, he wasn't perfect. But perfection was never the goal. Presence was. The way he stayed, even when tired. The way he worked, even when unseen. The way he made sacrifices, even when no one said thank you. Hey, before we go further, if your father is still alive, don't wait. Text him, call him, and drop a comment below. Still standing, still grateful. Let's honour our fathers in real time. Before the silence gets a chance to speak first, he may not have had millions, but he gave you what money couldn't buy: a name, a prayer life, a roof, and rules that were actually roots. He didn't teach you by lecture. He taught you by living. And now, you carry that blueprint in your bones. Every time you do the right thing when no one is watching, that's him. Every time you pause to hold the door or check in on someone, that's him. Every time you lead your family in faith, it's his legacy walking through your voice. He's the man still standing, and because he stood, you can too. His reward isn't on a stage. It's not in applause. It's in the fact that his children are still here, still grounded, still growing, still grateful. One day, you'll look at your own hands and see his fingerprints in the way you hold the world. So while he's still breathing, honour him, not just with cards, but with character, not just with gifts, but with gratitude. Happy Father's Day. To the fathers who are still here, still leading, still praying, still loving in a world that forgot how. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. You are not just a dad. You are the man, still standing, and we thank God for you. Happy Father's Day, Daddy. The men in this video, they are icons of honour. Stylized, imagined, inspired. They represent real strength. But make no mistake, they are symbolic. AI-generated, inspired by the elegance of the Silver Fox Squad. No real individuals are depicted. This is a tribute, not a portrayal. The Architect of Strength, a Father's Day spoken word tribute. He wasn't just a man, he was the map, the measuring line, the fortress in the fog. He was the one who taught you what it meant to be covered, before you even knew what danger was. You didn't always understand him. His silence could thunder louder than any storm. His stare could stop you mid-sentence. He didn't raise his voice, because he didn't have to. His presence said everything. He was a protector, but not the kind who stood with a sword. He stood with sense. He read the room, checked the locks, watched the crowd in case you didn't. You thought he was paranoid. He was prepared. He taught you the unspoken things. How to move in silence. How to observe before you speak. How to never come empty-handed. This wasn't just a father. This was a strategist, a shepherd in street clothes. He paid bills behind closed doors, fought battles you never saw, carried weights you'll never know, and then came home, as if none of it happened. He was not a man of many words, but every move he made was a lesson. How to stand still, how to answer a phone like it matters, how to give a handshake that means something. They said he was strict, maybe, but now you understand. He wasn't building rules, he was building walls of safety. He was teaching you how to walk with a name that wouldn't be laughed at. Because when your name is clean, you walk differently. And he made sure you knew that. He wasn't soft, but he was safe. And in a world where people leave, he stayed. He was a provider. And even when the money didn't stretch, he never let that poverty touch your dignity. Shoes before style, food before flair, discipline before dessert. He made sure you never had to ask, "Does anyone have me?" Because he did. If that's the father you had, drop his name in the comments, or write, covered, guided, grateful. Because if he covered you, he deserves to be known. And if your father is still alive, tell him. Now, before you write the tribute too late, he didn't raise a perfect child, but he raised a watched one. He saw when you were slipping and pulled you back with one look. That wasn't judgment, that was mercy, in masculine form. He is the blueprint, the first man who ever made you feel safe, or strong, or frustrated, only to realize years later he was right. He taught you how to pray without words. He led without applause. He gave without asking for a receipt. He was the man of the house. But he was also the man behind the curtain, fixing, covering, fighting, and yet never asking to be seen. He was teacher and test, provider and pressure, guardian and grace. And if you're honest, you still hear his voice when you're about to make a decision you shouldn't. That's legacy. So on this Father's Day, we honor the men who weren't just there. They were everything. The provider, the protector, the man who taught you how to walk into a room with weight. Not perfect, not polished, but powerful. Happy Father's Day to the architects of strength, the builders of backbone, the men who carried faith in one hand and pressure in the other, and still never let it show. You're not forgotten, you're foundational. We are your evidence, and we love you deeply, truly. We still see you, fathers, the ones who gave us presents over perfection, the ones who weren't praised, but still showed up, the ones whose love never needed an audience. You weren't always understood, but now we understand. We see the silence you carried with grace. We see the choices you made that we never thanked you for. We see the love you gave that didn't come wrapped in words, but in action. To the father still living, this is your moment. Let us not wait for absence to speak truth. Let us say it while they're still here to hear it. And if your father has passed, his echo still shapes your life. His fingerprints still guide your steps. His memory still matters. The righteous man walks in integrity. His children are blessed after him. Proverbs 20 verse 7. And we are blessed because of him.
Don't scroll past. Don't move on. If this touched your spirit, type his name in the comments. Tag a father. Share this tribute. Not for clout, but for closure. Not for views, but for honor. Subscribe for more stories that lift the silent pillars among us. This is for them. Agents of wisdom, thank you for watching. God bless you.